like around 2.
And Ugandans have a thing of doing things last minute.
No, not last minute, Priscilla. People, that's when they are able, money.
That's when they're able to get
the hustle is real.
The hustle is real,
I'll
but
be
also
honest
Ugandans
with you,
are last minute people.
It's sometimes, okay, there are those
There's
people.
a
There are also
culture
people
to
what,
some extent.
not by choice.
Yes.
We used to sit in that Chamta basement, I can tell you. But the basement, that's not where the bank is, meanwhile. That was a waiting lounge. You would sit, and then when then they give you numbers, then all these things. That was before the era.
And there are also
of
crafty
internet.
people who would come to
Definitely.
help and then move away with the monies, and there's there used to be a very high rate of criminality.
Let's talk,
still in this time.
let's talk about the banking sector. Today, you can cause transactions at the comfort of wherever you are.
Yeah.
Some of us, you pay on phone, you all
You
these
pay your
things,
bills on phone, water
everything.
bills,
You can literally not
electricity.
walk to, which is a good thing.
If at most, especially with the COVID-19 that hit
and that's
us,
what I was
everything was transferred to
and people were
online.
actually advised mostly to deal with most non-contact transactions. Let's look at electronic banking. You know, all these things. Now, away from banking, let's look at work, electronic employment. Today, most of the youth, at least 30%, are involved on online transactions. Let's talk about these so-called bettings of the world. People don't want to talk about them as aspects of work, but that's the truth of the matter.
They're employing, actually.
They're employing and people are earning. I know people who will die to Kusibaka Papula. And most now it is no longer standing, people do it online.
And from the Kusibaka Papula, people that they are employing.
And even they're paying taxes, as long as they're here under the law, they are here because they're not illegal. Now, just put that aside. Let's talk about education. There's what you call long distance education. Okay, there's what you call e-learning. One of the degrees I did was from a university called Uttar Pradesh in India, but I did half of it in Uganda. And so all these things. Now, when people talk about internet, they somehow want to summarize it to social media. So it loses meaning for me.
Priscilla, there's so much Felix has talked about the use of internet and the purpose, and no doubt we accept to a greater extent there is so much benefit. But let's also look at the other side of the coin that led to the shutdown on internet. The other side, there were threats, it was very clear, but what is the way forward? Now we know, yes, government can shut, can close off, but this is not a permanent solution.
Well, we first want to look at the genesis of how this happened or where it came into existence. Back in the elections of 2016, we had an abrupt internet shutdown, or social media shutdown for that matter, just to control the havoc that was going around that time politically, which led to arrests of some presidential candidates there after elections. So this time around, for the 2021, it was speculated that the same would happen, and so shutting down of internet was an advanced solution to be able to control and manage the election period so that it can be safe and peaceful, which I think by far was achieved for the period that they took it off. Understandably, we did have a very peaceful election this time around, but then thereafter, we've had people actually come to use social media platforms, most especially, to voice out the decries within the communities. The Segawa story that has been making a lot of rounds on social media, and we had so many people bring up videos, evidence of what happened during elections, what has happened here and there and there. The unfortunate bit of this is that whoever wants to spread their propaganda never have an end reason as to why they're doing it. They're just doing it to bias. They're just doing it to have intentional, ill, crude, greedy spreading of someone's name or party or company or whatever it is badly, and then thereafter there's not solution as to why they actually started the different negative campaigns that they have started. So I think that is where we need to go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, should we take social media at its front truth? Or should we be considering that, yes, it's a platform where people can exercise whatever it is that they want to exercise, which people would call it freedom of speech or expression for that matter, but how do we then verify what is being put out on these social media platforms? And please note, we are talking about incidences that have led to unrest. We're talking about incidences that have led to probably protests or riots for that matter. Not necessarily that you have your social media platform and you're sharing your private life, checking your friends, taking your selfies and doing your videos of your travel and etc. No, we're talking about those propagandas that have been used by whoever to actually instigate any form of violence. So that is where, you know, the Minister of ICT is coming out and readdressing this very same issue, that while there's restoration of social media, please be cautious as to what, one, you're responding to as far as social media is concerned, two, what you're feeding yourself onto, because, again, where do we verify? I think the basis of this challenge is, where is the verification in these sources that we get information from? Where do we get, who do we believe and who do we not believe?
Who do we believe and who do we not believe? Felix, how best can the state come in? There are countries, even in Africa, that have tried. Yes, Uganda once had a law on falsehood, then we went to defamation, we have the computer misuse, but all these seem not to have addressed the issue. That at one time, again, we'll have an internet shutdown. Already we are seeing issues like the Sega or Ronald issue. So can we come up with a permanent solution? What are some of the ways that we can ensure this nonsense, these falsehoods, these incitements can come to an end?
First and foremost, I think let us try not to politicize issues of internet use and abuse. Abuse is not necessarily when people say things you don't want to hear. I think that's, for me, again, gullible, if I may borrow the word. It is fallacy, again. People should understand that we live in a world where expression is key. Now, the only remedy is not an invasion or in the nuclears. There's a law. The first remedy is to have a law. People should be taken to court, prosecuted, and charged. Simply that. If the ministry or the government feels that it has challenges, if a Chirama has taken onto the social media and has released false information, prosecute that person. Simple. Prosecute the person.
And there will be a learning lesson.
And take them to court. Yeah. These are things of saying you shut down. For some of us have lost. The government has lost, by the way, more than any other person. But because of what? If there are people, errant people, take them to court. We have courts of law. You have attorney general. You have what? Take people to court, prosecute them, let them pay fines, let them, make it hard to cause that offense through the law. That is the only remedy. These are things of switching off what those are. For me, I find them cowardish. If you may borrow if I may borrow the language of the extreme, I find them cowardish, and I think they are simply disruptive. Because that is not the purpose of a state. The purpose of a state, in as much as they insert itself, or it must assert itself, it must also be an aid to development. Look at how much people have lost. Some people have lost jobs because, and people just don't want to care. And then you come out and you say, we have put it back, I don't do this. But I think it's not proper governance. Let's use the law. If Chirabo has erred in terms of social media, or cyber abuse, or cyber what, let's use the law, take them to court. So what's the use of courts?
Precedences are set.
It simply means that the government or the individuals are being courts in them own selves. They're being the judges in terms of this whole thing. So if it's a ministry or UCC or or minister whoever is in charge of this, you're not the judge, you're not court, you're not the law. We can't be in a country where Chida wakes up and says, now this Felix has walked badly. There's no more walking on the road. Now this guy has big eyes. All people big eyes don't come out today. No, man, that's not how life goes. In a country that is civilized, you have systems, and systems hold culprits. That's what it is.
And why they hold culprits is they set precedent that this will deter others from doing this. Why we're having so much of this is because people have learned that they can do this and walk away with it. If we have the laws and the laws are biting, people are sentenced, then precedent will be set, and this will deter many from misuse, spreading falsehood that we are seeing on various social media platforms. When we return, we'll be looking at some of those stories in the print media. Thank you for watching, and keep it on UBC TV.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you. Daddy, you look not impressed.
My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Day. Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect, nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion and many more, and certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health. Hallelujah Day.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data and SMS with our 3-in-1 My Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100 *2 *1# to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You may have heard of physical distancing. This means keeping at least 2 arms length apart from other people at all times to reduce the spread of coronavirus. But why is it so important? Without physical distancing, each person infected with coronavirus will infect 2 to 3 others. Each of these people go on to infect 2 to 3 more, who each go on to infect another 2 or 3 people, and so on. Within a month, the infection will spread from 1 to 406 people. But if each person halves the number of people they come into close contact with, the number of infections drops dramatically. Each person would only infect 1 or sometimes 2 people, and each of those infected people would only infect 1 or occasionally 2 more. So the disease spreads much more slowly. In a month, the infection would only spread from 1 to 15 people. That's the power of physical distancing. Keep at least 2 arms length distance from as many people as you can to reduce infections and save lives. That way you protect yourself, the people you love, and your country.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
This weekend on UBC.
There is a very special message that is coming from Hammam Spa and Saloon, who are saying that this Valentine's Day they have you fixed. Come and have the best spa treatment in Kampala. Sikulimba, Sikuwairiza, these guys are ultimately the best.
There were no tears.
They do pedicures, they do manicures, they do body scrub, they do hot stone massage, one of my favorites. They do facials, they do, you know, you guys have seen exactly what they do. Now, you can contact them on these numbers, right? The first one is a landline. It goes by 041 467 1775, or contact them on the other number, that is 075 502 7205. If you ever felt like the world is against you, this is the show for you.
I spent 6 months nga maguru bagawanise
and
ekiro misana all the time.
Administering this too much dosage on you, like what was happening during that time?
Not really. Their main aim was to balance the legs. I remember, I think it was primary 1. I had a sister of mine. She used to take me to school because I couldn't walk myself there.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
You just get shocked how time can fly. It is exactly 7:30. We just began at 6:30, and now, yes, time is flying like nothing. But hope you're also catching up with your program, what you're supposed to do to avoid getting late and such excuses like I didn't know. So wake up, move, get on the move, and ensure you beat all your deadlines that you're supposed to make today. It's time we look at some of the stories in the dailies. I'm holding the new vision of today, the 11th day of February. A very big headline there. MPs back 7-year term for elected leaders. That is support restoration of presidential 2-term limits, but also they back 7-year term for elected leaders. Okay, still there we look at armyworm tolerant maize developed. This is a very good story for the farmers, more so in the maize sector there. Armyworm tolerant maize developed. Then on politics, poll petition, Chagulanyi legal team racing against time to file evidence. The new vision also brings you an update on the Kampala flyover that is taking shape. There is a picture there of the construction of that is the arena there, and that is where the construction of that road of the flyover will be. Then learning from home, that is today past O level. There is biology, English, and physics. Then tomorrow there will be biology, general paper, and physics for you. Very interesting story that was in Parliament. Land ministers, Uganda Land Commission boss clash over cash request. Priscilla, in the Daily Monitor.
The Daily Monitor, Truth Every Day, is bringing you a very interesting headline: Inside Facebook fight with top NRM officials, 6 government employees affected in the move. You have 2 PR firms with over 10,000 followers blocked. Museveni shut down social media in response. Businesses count losses during internet shutdown. Then you get to look at pictorial for the Daily Monitor's front page. Ministers, lands officials clash over 12 billion cash. And of course you have the State Minister for Lands, Persis Namuganza, standing up and making her point loud and clear, while the rest are responding, such as Miss Beatrice Biencha and the rest of the Budget Committee. You get to look at Stop Press. Government plans to tax cash withdrawals from banks. That's interesting. And then you also get to look at the statistics on the upper part of the Daily Monitor today. They are giving you cases to the tune of 39,911 cases so far registered. You have recoveries at 14,470 recoveries, and the death toll is at 328. Whereas today in the Daily Monitor, making Valentine's Day special for everyone, on page 23 they bring you a full conversation.
In the New Vision still, that is on page 2, they give you the segment Know Your Member of Parliament, and today you have Alan Sewanyana, that is Machindi West, Jacob Olanya, Omoro County, and Theodore Sechkubo, that is Remiyaga County in Sembabule District. Today in history, it is on this very date, the 11th of February 2008, when MP Kamya charged, that is Rubaga North Member of Parliament, Betty Kamya Pictured, was charged with promoting war, sectarianism, seduction, and inciting violence. The prosecutor said the state attorney, Karen Nabassa, said Kamya, in an article published in a local daily newspaper in January, called for war against president, and she denied the charges. Still on the same date in history today, we see that is that have been sworn in. Morgan Shanghai was sworn in as Prime Minister of Zimbabwe as part of what was known as the Unity Government, in partnership with Robert Mugabe as President. And in COVID-19, always the New Vision brings you an update of the statistics to ensure that you know what is happening and how best you can protect yourself. So today, Uganda, the death toll stands at 327. No new death registered, no new recovery. And looking at our neighbors, how they're doing, we move to Kenya. So far they have lost 226 people there. Rwanda has lost 226 people there. Kenya has lost 1,789. while South Sudan stands at 69 deaths. Please do not be part of these statistics and perfect those drills.
Speaking of which, Daily Guide is bringing you a deeper insight into what is in the conversations this day. People in the news, you have Patrick Boy Amriat, the former presidential candidate, has expressed concern over the bad precedents set by church leaders who are allegedly living adulterous lives. Rebecca Kadaga, the Speaker of Parliament, suspended debate on supplementary budget requests after some irregularities were discovered. Editors speak for you this morning. East Africa, as Rwanda prepares to receive 1 million COVID-19 vaccines later this month, the Minister of Health says community engagement and collaboration among countries is crucial for vaccine to be effective. And today, in the Daily Monitor, straight out of university with no money at all, read about Paul Sentamu's family advising him against marrying Caroline until they were financially stable. Maybe that's your fate this season. You might want to get an inspiration from the Daily Monitor. But today in history, we get to look at the Canopus plane landing on Lake Victoria. The year was 1927 on the 11th day of February. It landed on Lake Victoria and it was a 14-seater plane. Also in history today, we are reminded that in 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison.
Looking at the sports pages here in the New Vision, we see King Cheptegei back. That is, now he's the new tourism ambassador for Uganda. This will be doing good for both the country and him. We are proud Ugandans. Emphasizes then also we see Man United there among last 8. So much in sports here. I don't know what Priscilla has when it comes to the sports pages of the Daily Monitor.
The Daily Monitor sports locally, of course, Cheptegei is the biggest story this morning, being named UTB ambassador deservingly. They give you Chep at a glance, read about his history, where he comes from, and his achievements, being able to be then named the UTB ambassador. Masaza organizers set early March date for postponed finale. This has been postponed and postponed. Hopefully, it can actually come through. Then, of course, the English FA Cup, strong mentality. Manchester United boss Solskjaer says he was pleased with his players' mentality in their FA Cup 5th round win over West Ham. There were other fixtures last night, of which Ruben Pima Chivirango is going to be coming through with a sports update and letting you know the fate of Swansea City against Manchester City. You had Leicester among other clubs that are playing in the 5th round of the FA Cup.
When we return, Priscilla will be taking us through traffic updates. It is here every morning that we enable you to better understand which is the safest route, quickest route for you to take to your destination, place of work, or for any other reasons. We return with traffic updates.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Food is more than just a great meal. It's even better when it's prepared with art. The Big Kitchen, coming soon on your public broadcaster. Brought to you by...
Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Are you money wiser? As we seek to improve our knowledge on the understanding of money matters, before any money leaves your life, ask yourself, am I money wiser?
The Be Money Wiser talk show is here to give you a platform to share your real-life financial experiences to be able to unlearn, relearn, and transform your lives.
I took a loan. I invested the money and it disappeared.
We need to decipher and understand whether forex trading is indeed so risky or manageably risky for all of us to invest in.
Capital
You can have trust with your clients, trust them anyhow that you can, as long as they are paying in cash.
Let's be money wiser.
You may have heard of physical distancing. This means keeping at least 2 arms length apart from other people at all times to reduce the spread of coronavirus. But why is it so important? Without physical distancing, each person infected with coronavirus will infect 2 to 3 others. Each of these people go on to infect 2 to 3 more, who each go on to infect another 2 or 3 people, and so on. Within a month, the infection will spread from 1 to 406 people. But if each person halves the number of people they come into close contact with, the number of infections drops dramatically. Each person would only infect 1 or sometimes 2 people, and each of those infected people would only infect 1 or occasionally 2 more. So the disease spreads much more slowly. In a month, the infection would only spread from 1 to 15 people. That's the power of physical distancing. Keep at least 2 arms length distance from as many people as you can to reduce infections and save lives. That way you protect yourself, the people you love, and your country.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for being with us all the way to 9 a.m. every single day. And we get to look at the traffic updates this morning, what it's looking like in the areas of Karere, onwards, Chebando, and the neighboring areas. Of course, we do have that place where it intersects with the Kampala Northern Bypass. As you can see this morning, there is some construction and remodeling of the road that is going on in this area. So we are definitely experiencing some sort of diversionary routes there that are going to be affecting the flow of jam. But just looking at the general area this morning, when you are coming from Chebando, definitely do expect some traffic jam coming through there, simply because of the diversionary route here. This was the main route, but the reds don't show that it was changed, and now there has to be another route that was created. Then they have to come back to the roundabout and probably join Kalere, or perhaps continue with the Northern Bypass. So that is the trickery that is happening at the Kalere roundabout, that we call it. Same happens for anybody that stays in the areas of Nsoba, Chebando, and the likes. They also have to use the diversionary route here that was created away from the original route, and that route does lead them to Kalere for that matter. So it does cause a lot of jam in this particular area. Same goes from the other side. When you're coming from the southern side, you're coming in maybe from Busega and the likes, and you're trying to join Chebando, you're trying to use this very same roundabout. There are diversionary routes, but of course going into Chebando, it's clear, as well as going to the southern side, it's clear. The only jam that you're having building up is coming in from Chebando and also the area of Soba and Kalere equally. On the market route is where you're having some bit of jam. You want to consider that in all of these, you are having the areas that are affected by this jam. Looking at some of the red zones this morning, we get to look at some of them. There are not so many this morning, surprisingly. You have around Homsdalen, Chebando, that has just a little bit of a red zone there. You do have another area that does also pick up on some red zones there. That is a Chebando Fuelex. You do have the Chebando Ring Road here that also does have some jams sometimes in the morning, but obviously for reasons that people are using Sola and Chisinjiri route to be able to get into the heart of Kampala, and using the back route of Wandegea, that is why you are having some sort of jam building up in this particular area. But looking at other areas within this region, you get to look at another red zone, is another back route that people use to actually get onto Gayaza Road, and that is in Chebando sub-parish. You get to see that this turn also brings in a lot of traffic jam because these are majorly residential areas. But as you can see, it actually is alternating between slow jam to not moving jam. It was not moving, but now it has cleared up in this area, as well as having cleared up at Chebando Central this morning. You also get to look at other red zones that come around Chebando Ring Road, heading back into Kampala Northern Bypass. That is where you do have some jam that picks up on the Ring Road, and then it gets you into Chebando and Chisoba area, which is also having a little bit of red-orange zones, showing you that there could be some buildup of traffic there. Mukalazi Road does also intersect and connects to the other side of Bukoto Chisasi Road. That's an option for you there. You have Bukoto Chisalo Salo Road also having some bit of jam, but all these are because people are using them as optional routes into the heart of the city. Now the Chisalo Salo Road does bring you into Cayenne, and you are able to join the Bukoto Ntinda route directly from there. Alternatively, you can also use it to connect to Chisasi on the other side, or if you can use it to come back to Bukoto and be able to get to Chira Road or Old Chira Road. Getting into the rest of Ntinda this morning, it does show you that the route all the way from Bukoto to Ntinda is actually clear and there's no traffic jam. Getting to the trading center and the diversionaries into Minister's Village, and then you are going to the likes of Nigeria, Chiwatule, you get to see that also these routes don't look so bad. Of course, the one intersection here that you have from these vehicles that are coming in from Minister's Village, they're coming in from Chambogo, that traffic that also cuts all through. They're trying to avoid this jam on Old Kira Road, so they will use this shortcut at Hotel Eliana Road, come and join Chigobe Road. Chigobe Road introduces them into Matters Way, or what people normally call Minister's Village, and then they're able to come out at the trading center in Ntinda. And so there is this traffic jam that is caused because of those two routes trying to intersect and join the main road of Bukoto Ntinda Road. Away from that, of course, at the trading center, you are only seeing jam being picked up on Ntinda Chisasi Road, but the rest of it, if you're going to the likes of ShopRite, it's actually a very clear route all the way, both from Matters Way, the ShopRite City Center does not have jam this morning. So basically, on this other side of Ntinda, there's not so much jam. It heads you to Ntinda Road, where of course you will have this intersection of Katalima Road and Ntinda Road. They are also used as shortcuts because these are residential areas. So people use them to either join Ntinda Road and be able to get into Nakawa, or use them to get through Naguru and be able to get to Lugogo on the other side. So looking at the rest of Ntinda Road this morning, heading into Spear Motors, it is actually a clear road. Please note that it's being constructed, and I passed there recently. The construction is good up until you get at the Spear Motors crossroads. The construction stopped just almost like maybe a kilometer to the main route, and so there's a lot of Humpty Dumptys you have to go through, especially for trucks, which causes a lot of traffic jam here at this cross section at Spear Motors. And as you can see this morning, Nakawa Ginger Road has some jam picking up. There's a lot of jam that we are experiencing in the areas of Nakawa, and I bet it does spread into Chambogo and Banda for that matter. So if you are on a rush hour and you are in this particular area, you might want to consider using alternative routes, probably Chinawataka. Join Nakawa Ginger Road, get onto Chinawataka. It will head you into the areas of Bugolobi. If we navigate through the areas of Bugolobi through Chwatu Road, we get to see that only at Newport Bay Road do you have some little bit of jam, and that's because the intersection route here is narrow. But looking at the main road, Port Bay Road does not have so much jam as expected this morning. All the way from Luzira, you're coming in from Cheka Road, there's not so much jam. You get to see Bugolobi Local Market has no jam this morning. You get to also see around Village Mall Bugolobi, there's not much jam. We are trying to get into the Airtel roundabout using the Old Port Bay Road and Spring Road, and they both do not have jam this morning as we speak, up until we get to the intersection at the Airtel roundabout. That is where you will have some sort of jam because it is using 4 routes to be able to manage vehicles moving to whatever end that they are moving at. So for this morning, in the areas of Tinda, it looks clear for you to use the main route. You may want to stay away from the shortcuts. And then for the areas of Nakawa, Katalima Road has police officers that actually stop vehicles, and that takes about 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know why they do that, and so it does cause a lot of jam. Also, vehicles coming in from Boegere, Banda, Chireka are also usually stopped for that spell of a time, and so you want to consider those options. However, there's also another shortcut that I used to use some time back when you're coming from Nakawa and you probably want to avoid this whole Nakawa jam. You might want to consider using a very interesting route that is through Chambogo University. Yes, it's First Technologies. You can go through Chambogo University and it's going to take you through the cricket ground. This area lands you into Chambogo Road, which eventually lands you back into the Matters Way, which is closer to the Minister's Village where we initially came from. So this is a very interesting shortcut. If you can actually get it, it leads you to Chigobe Road and you're back into Ntinda without a hassle or a bustle, and you have avoided the jam in the first place. So roughly, that's how it's looking like in the areas of Ntinda, of Nakawa, and the Kalere roundabout must be a consideration because of the diversionary routes. You are having a lot of jam that is being picked up in those particular spots. So with those in consideration, we trust that you're going to have a wonderful, safe day en route to your next destination. And as you move, please remember you can carry a sanitizer in your vehicle. You can carry a mask in your vehicle, and while you're in your vehicle, make sure that you have the number of persons that is recommended to have, and that's 4 persons including the driver. Those are recommendations from police in guidelines for the COVID-19 management. We are under the new normal and we need you to be safe. So be safe and enjoy yourselves a wonderful day on the road. It is still Good Morning Uganda.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Buyogera nyaffe Uganda ku Radio Africa tolemwa kumwenya olw'akamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye, kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu bwe buwoomye buva mu kyokunywa ekya Hallelujah Jingatted Drink na Hallelujah Tamarind Drink, eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa kirimu omubisi gw'enkooge. Hallelujah Tamarind Drink na Hallelujah Jingatted Drink bikolebwa ba Hallelujah Reflexology Healthy Solution and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Weefunira ekyokunywa kya Hallelujah leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Are you money wiser? As we seek to improve our knowledge on the understanding of money matters, before any money leaves your life, ask yourself, am I money wiser?
The Be Money Wiser talk show is here to give you a platform to share your real-life financial experiences to be able to unlearn, relearn, and transform your lives.
I took a loan. I invested the money and it disappeared.
We need to decipher and understand whether forex trading is indeed so risky or manageably risky for all of us to invest in.
Capital
you can have trust with your clients, trust them anyhow that you can, as long as they're paying you cash.
Let's be money wiser.
Coming soon on UBC. Food is more than just a great meal. It's even better when it's prepared with art. on your public broadcaster. Brought to you by...
Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Sometimes we cut with a knife, sometimes with scissors. But what do you use to cut slack? Let's find out.
Where's Jane?
She's not here yet.
She's late again. And now I have to do the whole show by myself again.
Jonathan, calm down. Jane has had a lot of problems lately with her family. Let's cut her some slack.
She is a paid professional. So no slack will be cut.
When you cut